When you get sad, you run straight ahead and you keep running forward no matter what. There are people in your life who are going to try to hold you back, slow you down, but you don't let them. Don't you stop running. Don't you ever look behind you. There's nothing for you behind you. All that exists is what's ahead.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. Season 4 is my favorite of Bojack Horseman, mainly because I believe it's where Bojack takes the biggest step in his journey, and it left me feeling positive about his future. So I thought it'd be good to go through this season and analyze exactly what that journey was. Before we get to it, however, let's rewind back to Season 3. The death of Sarah Lynn left a big impact on Bojack, prompting him to start doing the Ethan Around spinoff. However, while performing the show, a co-star says she wants to be just like him when she grows up, which makes Bojack panic and drive off, with no destination in mind. This moment with the actress parallels the kind of relationship Bojack had with Sarah Lynn. Bojack had a major impact on how Sarah Lynn decided to take her life, making him feel responsible for her death. Because of that, he panicked and left, not wanting another young girl to end up with the same fate. Bojack lets the guilt of Sarah Lynn sink in as low as it can. He believes now, more than ever, that any relationship with him will end badly. With this in mind, he gives up on life, drives onto the road, and expects the inevitable to happen until he spots a group of presumably wild horses running through the desert. This is where Season 4 picks up. Bojack is tempted to join the running horses in the distance. These horses appear to have nothing, and yet from Bojack's perspective, they are happy and free. Let's remember that in past episodes, Bojack has shown a regret of not giving up his Hollywood lifestyle for a simpler one. He sees another opportunity to leave everything behind and choose a simpler life. Before he can do so, however, Diane calls him. This is the call of his Hollywood life pulling him back. He almost accepts the call too, showing he's still not ready to completely leave that life behind. In doing so, Bojack misses his opportunity to join the running horses. He doesn't completely abandon the idea of leaving his life behind though. Instead of running with horses, he decides to retire to his grandparents' old summer home. Here, Bojack spends his time mourning Sarah Lynn's death and fixing up the house. Normally, a lack of comfort is something we'd see him complaining about non-stop. He could hire an entire crew to come and fix up the house, but Bojack is dead set on living this simple life, to the point that he is fixated on doing it himself. He even gets angry when someone else tries to fix his door for him. Speaking of which...
Let me get my toolkit.
Yeah, fine. You can help. A little. If it means so much to you, I will let you help me.
Bojack's new neighbor, Eddie, acts as his mentor in this situation. By showing Bojack how to fix the house, he's setting Bojack up to live a lifestyle that he has perfected. The exact lifestyle that Bojack is striving for. A life where one can stand still in time. And Eddie is so separated from society that he has no knowledge of the basic concepts of Hollywood.
I have to ask, are you...
Bojack Horseman? No.
What? Who's Bojack Horseman?
Who's Bojack Horseman? He's a very famous TV and film star.
However, Eddie also demonstrates the dark side of choosing this life. When Bojack forces the dragonfly to confront his past, Eddie completely loses it, trying to end both himself and Bojack.
Oh, plane, look out!
You want to know how Lorraine felt when she got sucked into that engine? We're all just tiny bugs, right?
Through Eddie, Bojack sees the end path of this life. He can separate himself from society and try to hide in the past. It'll just bury the problem until it inevitably rises up again. He won't forget about Sarah Lynn's death and he won't better his life. He'll just wind up like Eddie, miserable and stuck in the past while the world around him moves forward. And it's here Bojack makes his first major step towards improving himself. If it means winding up like Eddie, he doesn't want to live in the past, even if it looks beautiful. Bojack answers a very important question in his life that has needed answering for a long time. What is the point in enshrining the past?
I don't know. I guess it was just a big waste of time.
He wants to move forward and thus has his shrine demolished. And true to the lifestyle, Bojack also moves past Sarah Lynn's death. Instead of grieving like he's been doing for over a year, he says her catchphrase just before departing. He's no longer mourning her death. Instead, he's celebrating her life. I've discussed before that I believe the thing Bojack needs to achieve happiness is to move on from the instances of his past in order to change his own mindset. So this was a great step for him to take. In that same video, I also talked about a very specific person in Bojack's life that he needed to get out of his head.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Do I know you?
Here we go.
Beatrice is arguably the most despicable character in the entire show, having placed all her own personal problems on Bojack and instilling in him that he was a mistake brought upon the world. It's her actions, as well as her husband's, that led Bojack to the mentality that he deserves every bit of misery that comes his way. Bojack comes across Beatrice in this season, and he discovers that she has dementia. Naturally, he feels incredibly depressed about the situation. Not because he's scared of what his mother's going through, but because the woman who destroyed his self-esteem as a kid might go the rest of her days without him getting to tell her off.
I'm sorry you didn't get to tell your mom off.
I keep thinking about all the things I never said because I was so sure there would be other days to say them.
Why don't you tell her now?
That's not the same. I should have done it back when she knew who I was, back when it would mean something.
Bojack desperately wants to get revenge on his mother. He tries to force her to remember who he is just so he can get the opportunity. Eventually, it gets to the point that he makes her suffer even in her fragile state, throwing her precious baby doll from his balcony. Finally, we see Bojack reach his breaking point. He is more angry at his mother than he has ever been in his life. He feels that she's taken everything from him, and in this instance, the most important thing he's ever had. He plans to abandon her completely so that he'll be rid of her forever. To Bojack's surprise, Beatrice wakes up from her stupor and remembers who he is. This is Bojack's opportunity, his chance to do what he's always wanted, to make his mother suffer the way she made him, to make her feel alone, worthless, and helpless. This is the opportunity he's waited for since the day he was born. His one and only chance that he won't get again. So what does he do?
I don't understand. Where am I?
You're in Michigan.
Michigan?
Yeah, at the lake house.
I am?
It's a warm summer night, and the fireflies are dancing in the sky, and your whole family is here, and they're telling you that everything is going to be all right.
Yes, that's right.
Bojack lets it all go. It no longer matters to him that Beatrice needs to be hurt. He doesn't forgive her of her actions necessarily, but those actions no longer determine what he's going to do. Beatrice no longer has an effect on what he does with his life. Eddie taught Bojack the importance of moving from the past, and Beatrice was his opportunity to put that knowledge into practice. These two people had major changes in Bojack's life, but there was still one person whose impact was vital to Bojack improving.
I'm Hollyhock, Mannheim, Guerrero, Robinson, Zilberschlag, Sung, Fonzarelli, McQuack.
Of the New Haven, Mannheim, Guerrero, Robinson, Zilberschlag, Zung, Fonzarelli, McQuacks? That was a joke. Obviously, I've never heard of your family and or law firm.
Hollyhock enters Bojack's life believing him to be her biological father. Bojack immediately dismisses her, not because he doesn't want to get to know her, but because he has accepted his inability to have a meaningful relationship.
I came back because I wanted to fix things, but now I don't know if I can. I've really been so lucky to have people in my life who care about me. I don't deserve any of them.
He and Hollyhock make an agreement to avoid getting to know each other. It's important to note that while Hollyhock hears that Bojack thinks he's a bad person, she shows signs that she simply thinks he doesn't want her around.
Hollyhock.
I know you didn't ask for this dorky 17-year-old to just show up at your door. Then I'm sorry if I'm annoying, but
No,
I didn't ask
Hollyhock,
for...
I'm glad you're here.
Oh.
And this is how the relationship between these two go. They want to spend time with each other, but believe the other one won't like them. Bojack specifically is afraid of repeating his past and thinks he'll Bojack things up like he usually does.
Bojack things up? You mean show up somewhere and be the life of the party? And then share a laugh with your good friend Mr. Peanut Butter?
No, obviously I meant screw everything up until she hates me.
So we know that Hollyhock has 8 dads. At first, I thought this was just another hyperbolic joke that the show is known for, but I now realize that it's essential to Hollyhock's relationship with Bojack. By having 8 dads, it cannot be made more clear that she doesn't need another one. Unlike Diane or even Todd from past seasons, Hollyhock does not stay with Bojack because she needs him.
I already have 8 dads. It's not like a 9th dad is what I need to suddenly fill a hole in my life that the unconditional love of 8 dads couldn't already fill.
Now yes, before anyone says anything, Hollyhock does have a hole in her heart, but that's from a lack of a female role model in her life. Growing up with 8 dads and no mom will do that to you. The only thing Hollyhock needed from Bojack was info about her mother, and she could have been on her way. And when she got the info she needed and saw what a horrible person Bojack was, she got out of there fast.
I'm gonna do the rest of this on my own.
No, Hollyhock.
I got the list. I don't need you anymore. I have a bad life.
But unlike a lot of people in Bojack's life, Hollyhock didn't get far because Bojack goes out of his way and even does the uncomfortable just to help her.
How did you find me?
I went to everyone on that list.
You talked to all those women? Some of them
Really haven't aged well, I know.
I was gonna say really hate you.
Oh, yeah, that too. But I needed to find you to tell you I'm sorry.
At the end of the season, when Bojack has to make up for Hollyhock being hospitalized, he does so by finally finding out who her mother really is. But notice how he handles it.
She has to know. You don't have to tell her I was here. I'll stay out of her life forever. You can say you found this on your own. I don't care, but you have to tell her. Please.
All right, Bojack. We tell her.
Yeah?
Yeah, but you need to leave right now.
Okay.
It's not about making things better between him and Hollyhock so that she'll talk to him again. In fact, he's giving other people the credit. It's about doing what's right for Hollyhock. In his past relationships, Bojack has always prioritized what he got out of them. He didn't want to be lonely, hence Todd. He felt like he was becoming a better person, hence Wanda. He wanted to get to know someone more intimately and take control of his life, hence Anna. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he never genuinely cared about anyone, but up until Hollyhock, Bojack was never outwardly focused on what made them happy. In fact, with Hollyhock, he tried to push her away because he felt he didn't deserve the good things she was giving him.
But every time she looks at me with those big, innocent eyes, and I think, I don't deserve that kind of love.
We all know Bojack has a legendary track record for being brutally honest, but also isn't afraid to lie if it's for his own benefit. With Hollyhock, he's willing to put aside his brutal honesty for her benefit.
Do you really think a guy like Miles couldn't ever really like a girl like me?
No. I was just jealous because you were spending a lot of time with him.
That voice, the one that tells you you're worthless and stupid and ugly.
Yeah?
It goes away, right? It's just like a dumb teenage girl thing, but then it goes away.
Yeah.
Hollyhock is the one person whom Bojack consistently removes himself from the equation and does what he believes she needs. And it's through all these actions that Hollyhock willingly becomes a part of Bojack's life. She wants to spend time with him. She wants to hang out with him to the point that she's disappointed when he's gone all day. Remember, she doesn't need another dad, and yet she still wants Bojack around.
Where do you go when you disappear all day?
Just drive around. Sometimes I go to a bar. Sometimes I pull over by the side of the road and just sit there for hours.
And you'd rather do that than spend time with me.
And now maybe you can see why I believe season 4 to be Bojack's best. He finally learns to let the past be the past and to keep moving forward. He finally defeats the demon in his life that is his mother's hold on him. And he finally learns how to sacrifice and put others first in a relationship. And his reward for doing all of this is a bright and open future with someone who genuinely cares about him and wants him to keep being a part of her life. Warts and all.
I never needed you to be a dad. I'm going to be fine. I told you from the beginning I have 8 dads.
Yeah. Good.
But I've never had a brother.
This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.